How's it going there, world? My name's Carpo. Today I'm going to do a quick video about quick wash. I'm going to try to make this brief. I actually started putting together a video where I was going to do a tutorial and a how-to on this whole process of quick wash ISO using isopropyl alcohol to make cannabis extract. And I just kind of scrapped the whole thing. It's just too much work, and there are several videos showing the process out there. I really don't like redoing what's already been done. It's like writing a book somebody's already written. So instead, I wanted to put in just a couple points that I hope will help other people who may have a fear of doing any sort of a cannabis extraction. There are several different ways of making cannabis extract, and a lot of people have a variety of extra leaf or some old buds out there that they want to do something with. I know because I've been hanging on to some for years, and I had some of it processed a while back with butane by a friend who was making BHO, butane hash oil, and I'm just not a big fan of the product nor the process. And so I wanted to kind of hold back and wait until I could get something. I mean, even when it's correctly done with purging and everything. But I want to keep this simple for the any average layman who wants to do this but has never done it before. And if you look at the tutorials, you know, they'll show you the whole process. It's just as simple as it looks. My only points are, first off, I hear a lot of people in the comment sections on these videos say that don't ever use isopropyl alcohol. It's horrible. It contains all these impurities and it'll make you sick. First off, the idea behind using ISO in order to wash cannabis is to completely evaporate the alcohol. Now you have to realize this alcohol is used in the medical setting for a reason. It completely evaporates. It doesn't leave behind any residue. What people are often thinking of is making tinctures, because if you make a tincture using Everclear, you do the same process, but afterwards you evaporate most of the alcohol down to a certain amount. Then you can put it in vials. Now by using Everclear or grain alcohol, you can still consume it. So when a person's making tinctures, that's one way to do it. But if you're evaporating it down to making just hash, you can make some wonderful stuff with isopropyl alcohol. The key is you take your cannabis and you put it in the freezer in a jar. Now I break it up. Some people leave it as whole buds. I want to get into the middle of the bud and make sure, because you're going to be washing it quickly. Anyway, you put that isopropyl alcohol in the freezer too, and of course they both get ice cold. Then you combine them in the jar, you shake for 20-30 seconds lightly. The longer you shake, the more chlorophyll or impurities you might get, but still you're going to get maybe even a little more out of it. So it depends on what you're after, you know, super pure extract or just getting the most of your cannabinoids out of it. I found that, because I made some the other day, and once I filter it through like 3 different mesh strainer sizes, because it takes a while. You know, if you want to do it straight through coffee filters, it's going to take forever. So use a few different sizes. And then I take that jar and I pour it over a 6x9 tray, basically the kind that's just baking tray, a Pyrex dish. And then I put a heater behind it. And that heater blows over the surface. You can also put it on a hot plate or a griddle, but make sure that you ventilate. That's another key, you know. The one point I want to make is that, yes, it's explosive and you can blow yourself up if you're stupid, but as long as you have ventilation and a fan going, or you do it outside, you'll be fine. One of the things I'd like to mention is to use 99% isopropyl alcohol. It's the last key point I wanted to make. I actually can buy it at the store here, but I ordered some online from a place that was like Florida Labs, I think. So it's like laboratory grade alcohol. I want to make sure that whatever I get is the best I can get. It's not cheap, but it works really well, and actually I think ISO can make even better hash than most of the Everclear stuff that I've seen. So that's all, just a few pointers. I guess that's not really going to help a lot of people, but just, you know, the bud I'm processing right now, it was actually the Harlequin Tsunami, which was like, had almost no THC in it, and it's like 13% CBD. And when I had a card, I could grow here. In my state it's legal, but you can't grow it. But I could when I had my medical card. And so I was growing, half of my garden was just Harlequin Tsunami. And then I would just save it, store it, because nobody wants to smoke a bud that doesn't get you high. But all that CBD has just been waiting to be processed. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm freezing the CBD buds in the freezer. I'm going to go in there in a few minutes and pour it on the tray, do the filtration. The last key is once the tray is dry, completely dry, you can scrape it up with a razor blade and put it in a container, and it works phenomenal. Now, I've done this in the past with different types of extracts. One thing you'll notice is if there's water in it or impurities, it'll crackle or fizzle or sparkle when you dab it or put it on a bowl of weed. It doesn't do that. This stuff is phenomenal. I really like it. I wish that I could share my CBD extract with people, because I've had so many people ask. One of my most popular videos on YouTube ended up being the CBD one I made years ago, and I still get emails of people asking, desperate. I want to say that CBD is not the be-all, end-all of medicine. It is wonderful, and it has potential for so many things, but people are really selling it for everything. You got anxiety, you got depression, you got hemorrhoids, feeling crappy today, you need some energy, you need to get tired, you need to wake up, take CBD, and it's not worth the price for most of the things it's being sold for. That said, I believe that for the people who can benefit from it, it's an amazing, amazing compound, and it's really sad that people are overcharging so much for it, that you buy this little bottle. And the video I actually had made was called the CBD Ripoff Report, and it was about how frustrated I was that the market is turning cannabis, well, it's always been this way. I mean, even since I was a kid reading High Times, you know, they were selling their, you know, everything's been sold with sex, you know. You'll see, you go down to the weed store here, and, you know, most of it's pretty respectable, but you'll still see magazines where people are selling, like, fake weed using, you know, girls in bikinis sitting on a joint or something. It's just, it's kind of painful to see, but that's the world we live in. As the market gets taken over, CBD starts to become this trendy thing. And I don't want to see it be that way. I want it to see it become the medicine and used for what it needs to be used for. I also am very disappointed in what's happening with people trying to fight the Farm Bill, not allowing farmers to grow hemp. The states that are still continuing to consider CBD a Schedule I drug is just absurd. Even THC is absurd. We're living in a time where any one of us should be able to grow cannabis in our yard and to make any type of extract we want, to do any type of you know, ganja food. I mean, the regulations are just so absurd right now, and it's making it harder than it was even when it was just illicit. But it is a little cheaper. Anyhow, the video got long, so I'm going to end it there. I'll talk to y'all later, and maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. I don't know, but I still love cannabis. I just don't talk about it very often, and I tend to kind of keep it to myself because, you know, there's a lot of people out there who make it look bad, if you will. And it's a wonderful herb. It has a lot of a strong place in my heart. Talk to y'all.